Have you heard about the Zakieya Avery case? It's probably one of the most disturbing crimes involving religious delusion I've ever read.
Yeah, the one where she and her friend believed they were performing an exorcism on her own kids?
Exactly. She was convinced her children were possessed by demons. It's chilling. 2 of them, just 1 and 2 years old, died from stab wounds.
And what's even more unsettling is that she didn't act alone. Monifa Sanford, just 21, was a part of it. They called themselves the Demon Assassins.
I find that name so surreal. Like, it sounds like something out of a fantasy novel, not real life.
But in their minds, it was real. They believed they were waging a spiritual war. I read that they thought a demon jumped from one child to another, even into Sanford at one point.
Yeah, and they said they saw the kids' eyes turning black and a black cloud above them. It sounds like textbook psychosis, or at least severe delusion.
The fact that they washed the children's bodies after the killings, thinking they were preparing them to meet God, makes it all the more tragic.
And terrifying. You get the sense they truly believed what they were doing was righteous. That kind of conviction is what makes this so haunting.
And don't forget the other 2 kids, 5 and 8 years old. They survived but were critically injured. If a neighbor hadn't called 911, they might not have made it.
That part gave me chills. One neighbor called because a child had been left in the car for 45 minutes. Then another, the next day, spotted a bloody knife.
That chain of events probably saved lives. But imagine being those kids waking up from that nightmare, if they even slept at all.
And now they're growing up without their siblings, with this horror etched into their childhood.
What also caught my eye is the lack of remorse. Police officers said neither woman seemed truly sorry. Isn't that indicative of how far removed from reality they were?
Possibly. Or they were just too far gone mentally. Both had histories of mental health issues. Avery had been institutionalized before, and Sanford had attempted suicide twice.
It's hard to say where belief ends and illness begins, but clearly their grip on reality was fractured.
I'm curious how a group like Demon Assassins even formed. It wasn't just the 2 of them, apparently. There were other members.
Detectives were trying to find those other members but said they didn't think they were dangerous. Still, how do you join a group like that and not raise red flags?
Maybe the whole thing flew under the radar. They did meet at a church, Exorcism Ministries, but the pastor said they never mentioned anything about exorcisms.
That's what's scary. Radical ideas developing in private, then escalating to violence without anyone stepping in soon enough.
And there were warning signs. Neighbors noticed strange behavior. A kid in the car, loud noises, windows open in the middle of the night.
But those pieces didn't come together until it was too late. It's a grim reminder that sometimes you don't realize danger is next door until it explodes.
The aftermath's heartbreaking too. Their grandmother said the children were the sweetest things. Imagine being part of that family, trying to make sense of it all.
There's also the question of justice. Both women were denied bond and sent to a psychiatric facility. But will they stand trial?
That's up to their evaluations. Their mental states might mean they're found incompetent, which raises more questions about responsibility, treatment, and the limits of the law.
And faith. When belief fuels violence, where does accountability lie? In the person, the belief system, society?
Heavy questions, but important ones, because this wasn't just a crime, it was a tragedy shaped by belief, illness, and isolation.
What scares me most is how ordinary everything seemed from the outside. No altars, no candles, nothing dramatic. Just a house that looked like any other.
Evil doesn't always look theatrical. Sometimes it wears pajamas and talks about God.
So true. And that's what makes this story unforgettable. It challenges our assumptions about danger and faith.
Let's hope those surviving children find peace and maybe even healing, because that's the only grace that could come from something this dark.
Absolutely. And maybe this case can be a wake-up call for all of us to notice the signs, speak up, and reach out.
If you're listening and this episode disturbed you, that's good. Some stories should disturb us. They remind us what to protect and what to question.
Stay safe and stay aware. And if something doesn't feel right around you, don't ignore it. Someone's life might depend on it.